Hey everyone, Quality, Caribbean Islands. This is the first episode to my series, Video Game History, where I talk to you about the history of video games during the time when I was alive. Now it's 1990. 1990 was a great year, not only the year of my birth, but the release of one of my favorite consoles, the Sega Mega Drive, or Sega Genesis, which I mostly know it as. It's amazing how back then consoles had 3.5 megahertz. Now we have 3.5 and more gigahertz on our systems. It's crazy, the evolution of technology. The biggest event for that year, the Nintendo World Championships, hosted by Nintendo Entertainment System. They toured through 29 cities over the United States. That was massive. Underage kids to young adults were able to participate in this cartridge mayhem. If I remember correctly, the games were Super Mario Bros., Rad Racer, and Tetris. And the winners won a trophy, $250, and a power pad, and a Game Boy. If you don't know what a Game Boy is, kill yourself. If you don't know what a power pad is, it was a floor mat game controller for the NES. It has 12 buttons which you could walk on and press. It was a game for fitness purposes, clearly. It's similar to Twister, where you step on a large circle on the mat and it registers on the display on the TV screen. It was for games like, I can't even fucking think of any right now, but mostly running, sporting, and miscellaneous. People could have easily cheated the power pad because there's nothing to tell the difference between your feet and your hands. For instance, if you're playing a running game, you just beat your hands on the mat as long as you want. Way easier than using your feet. And when you want to jump, you lift your hands up and then put them back down. It was totally ridiculous, but innovation back in the day. The finalists, winners, won $10,000, a car, and a television, respectively. There were 3 winners. That was also the year Nintendo sued Color Dreams for unlicensed production of Nintendo video games. What were they thinking? They were very notorious for doing it, by the way. The company actually bypassed the NES's lockout chip on their cartridges that disallowed you to play without proper authentication. They were doing it for a whole year before Nintendo caught on to their operation. Toy Headquarters and Trinity Acquisition Corporation merged together, forming THQ, producing awesome makes in the near future, Saints Row, WWE, Homefront, etc. Bonk's Adventure released that year, a really fun game, but I found it as a Mario ripoff. Initially it was for the TurboGrafx 16 and then went on to the NES, Game Boy and other consoles. But it's a similar concept. It's a side scroller, you jump over creatures that are trying to harm you, you collect power-ups in a similar fashion, you have to save a princess, you bonk enemies with your head, thus killing them. Well, that part's a bit different. Mario just walks straight through the enemies like fucking God mode. But Mario ripoff, just like many other 2D side scrollers, but nevertheless, really fun game to play. Speaking of Mario, Super Mario Bros. 3 also released that year in North America for the NES, making it one of the best selling video games, selling 17 million copies over the years, then up to 500 million. The Mario series really fun and exciting. That was the starting of an era in video games, and they were going in the right direction. Also, Super Mario World, with the introduction of Mario riding that retarded dinosaur Yoshi, that was also a success. Dr. Mario, well, anything Mario sold around that time. It was this Mario Tetris-like game. You align capsules. Well, Mario is a doctor apparently, and you align capsules in order to kill viruses, and it had multiplayer, so fuck you, Tetris. They had Snake's Revenge, the so-called sequel to Metal Gear, which was released in 1988. Some script kiddies made a sequel to an already popular game without the involvement of the original creator. I mean, he knew about it, but what was the sense? I'm sure they could not have sold it. But eventually the original creator then created the official sequel months down the road, calling it Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. I also found Metal Gear as the pioneer in stealth within a game. You infiltrate an enemy compound without getting detected by soldiers or surveillance cameras, collecting keys to access new areas. It paved the way for games like Splinter Cell, Hitman, Assassin's Creed. Final Fantasy released in Japan in 87, North America 90, and very popular game. I don't know why. The longest running game series that I know of. I think they're up to 15 now. Awesome RPG. It has to be doing something good why it's been running for that long, but just not for me. They had Wing Commander for PC, the MS-DOS. It's a cockpit point of view shooting game, very fun to play at the time. Mega Man 3. Mega Man is not my cup of tea. It's based off in the future. As a matter of fact, it's based off of where we are today. Unfortunately, the world now looks nothing like Mega Man's game in 1990. Robot boys and robot dogs, ridiculous.